What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a BARD theory crafting video. Keep in mind that this build will change to some degree. They're going to be adding 100 extra disciplines into the game, as well as some of the current disciplines in the game are not functioning. Things like Expansive Mind, which might change up my build a little bit, just aren't working. But the overall premise of this build, I think, will remain unchanged. I think it's just a strong concept, and I think it's going to survive. It's not taking advantage of any ridiculously overpowered mechanics. It's not taking advantage of anything that is clearly broken or clearly going to get nerfed. It's just really, really strong from a mechanical point of view. So, let's get into it. So, BARD, baby. The BARD is a class. Yes, it's technically a major discipline, but it changes your class so much so that I consider myself a BARD more than a Confessor when I play this build. When I am building a group, I'm not really considered a Confessor, I'm considered a BARD. So keep that in mind when you're running the BARD. If you're running at least a BARD that keeps all 4 songs up, it changes your class so much so that you are now a BARD. Now let's talk about the BARD, what the actual songs are and the functions of the BARD. So Song of Speed increases your group's movement speed by 10%, 35% out of combat. That's pretty good. Guardian Rhythms is amazing. 15% damage reduction all the time. And again, these are AoE group buffs that apply to your entire party. 50-yard range, 50-meter range. So 10% movement speed in combat, 15% less damage taken. Then you've got a heal. Now, Hymn of Restoration is where things kind of get a little gray. It's a little gray area here. Some people think this is not really that great. I personally think it's pretty good because while 60 health regen in combat, that's pretty pathetic. We've got 4,000 health here. 60, come on. But here's the thing: this is a group-wide buff. This takes 2 seconds to cast. 2-second cast, and it's about a 1,500 heal, something like that. So is 1,500 health for your entire party worth 2 seconds of time? I think so. So I personally think this one's worth running. And then we've got Versus a Victory, which is 150 assault power and support power. And keeping all of these buffs up is where your real value is going to lie. They really, really help. And they might not seem like a big deal, but trust me, it's a big deal when you're hitting 5 people with these things and you keep them up all of the time. So the BARD is a class. Now, why do I like the Confessor for the BARD? It should be pretty, number one, it's obvious, the mobility. This right click that shoots you across the map is just bananas. It's great for getting away from people. And the thing is that if you're a BARD, you're going to be a kill target. People are going to be going after you because you are providing crazy value for your team. Killing the BARD first is going to be a good thing to do because you kill the BARD, all of a sudden they lose 4 super powerful buffs. So you've got the mobility. That's really good. You've also got the mobility on your attacks as a Confessor. Now, all the attacks I'm running keep me at 100% movement speed. So, unlike the Ranger, I'm not snared when I do my left click. I am not snared by Firewall. I am not snared by my stun. I can do all of this stuff on the run. I've also got the C power, which is pretty damn good for the role you play as a BARD. You get pulled in. You get net pulled in by a Myrmidon. They go for the stun combo on you. Boom. Go underground. You're invisible. You're immune. The C power is just good synergy for the BARD because people are going to be trying to kill your ass. Another thing about the Confessor with this the current build I'm running, and this is something a lot of people don't think of, and that is that these abilities do not lock me in. So the primary focus of the BARD is keeping the songs up. All of the extra stuff you do on the side is just extra. The songs are the priority. And the thing with a class like the Ranger, for example, is that when you're a Ranger, you are locked into your abilities. When you do that, fire, the volley of arrows, that's like a 2.5 second cast. You can't just start singing a song all of a sudden in the middle of that shit. With the bow, yeah, you can cancel the arrows early, but that's kind of annoying and not really worth doing. You're more locked into those attacks, and you can't easily weave your songs in and out of your DPS. With this, man, I can do a fireball, Fireball, Guardian Rhythms, Fireball. Hymn of Restoration. Firewall. Let's put down a wall. Into Song of Speed. You know, I'm able to easily weave in and out. Whereas if I was a ranger, it'd be 2-second cast. Song of Speed. 2-second cast. This, that. You know, I'm not able to easily weave the songs. And again, broken record, the songs are the priority. So that is another reason why the Confessor is very, very good. There's a lot of little hidden benefits for why the Confessor, I think, is just a great bard. But those are the major ones. I believe I hit on everything. Well, I guess one that I didn't hit on, ranged. It's a ranged character. Yeah, I know this is probably pretty obvious, but the bard, you're better off being on a ranged character of some capacity, a ranged character or a healer as a bard, because there's no real reason to be running around in melee with the bard when your songs have a 50-meter range. You're just asking to get killed and take damage. The Troubadour is the aggressive version of the bard that does debuffs and damage. The bard does healing and buffs. So, yeah, ranged, duh. And I guess another thing I didn't really hit on is that the Sin mechanic. If I just do a fireball in Song of, fireball, why is it, there we go, lag. Fireball, Guardian Rhythms. I'm putting Sin up. I'm putting a debuff up. I'm providing extra value to my team, or to an extra Confessor in my group, or with Mortal Sin, which we'll get into in a minute. I'm able to, get out some good debuffs that aren't like the Ranger, for example. Like the Ranger, yeah, you can do a stun on your third arrow, right? But that's 3 fucking arrows you have to cast, and you're not able to weave your songs as effectively. And I don't believe the combo, you have to shoot 3 in a row to get that. It's not as easy as the Confessor, where I'm able to just really get a lot of value easily. So, moving on, let's talk about what I'm actually running in terms of runestones. First one, Bard, obviously. Next one, Juggernaut. Juggernaut is so good. Juggernaut, in my opinion, is the best major runestone in the game at the moment. There might be more powerful runestones for certain classes, but here's my reasoning. Juggernaut is good for everybody. Every single role, class, whatever you're playing, Juggernaut's good. So this is going to be a hard one to get a hold of in the campaign worlds, I think. Just because, the way you get the runestones in the actual version of the game is that you have to find them, essentially. And Juggernaut, maybe it's going to be a rare runestone, but even if it's not rare, so many people are going to want it that it's going to be hard to get a hold of. So Juggernaut is so good. Let's go over why it's so good. Furious Retaliate. Furious Retaliate, it's an improved version of your Retaliate. Of course, you're going to want to run that. I don't even have it on my bar. I'm dumb. You're going to want to run that. What this does is it allows you to retaliate instantly. So, the normal Retaliate, it's got like a 1.5, 2 second ramp up. If you get hit by a stun, you've got to do the animation of like, ooh, look at me, I'm jumping to my feet. With Furious Retaliate, you hit the button, you can Furious Retaliate and instantly right click away. Also, it does a little bit more damage, not that big of a deal. But another thing it does is that it gives you extra resolve. So if you Furious Retaliate and then immediately get hit by another stun, it's going to be for less of a duration. So you've got the fact that you can do it instantly, does more damage, and makes you more likely to be, or less likely to be CC'd again. It's good. It's very, very good, and it's just better than the base Retaliate, and it's easy to replace. No bar bloat there. Unstoppable. This is the bread and butter of Juggernaut. It's a CC immunity and a CC break. So this is great for the Bard. This is great for everybody, but this is particularly good for the Bard because as a Bard, you're going to be a kill target. You're going to be getting hit by Myrmidon nets and Myrmidon pulls and chain pulls. People are going to be switching to you and trying to kill you. And what this does is that it allows you to break out of a stun, as well as having, when you break out of the stun, you get 8 seconds of immunity. So what would happen typically is even if, let's say as a Bard, I get gripped in and stunned, and I have Retaliate up, right? Fine, I got Retaliate, right? Good teams are going to hit you with a stun right out of Retaliate. They're going to hit you with another CC again. They're going to be expecting it. With Juggernaut, I'm able to break out of that stun and freely zip away because I am now immune for 8 seconds. So if you look at my buff bar here, I'm going to pop it. So Juggernaut, attack CC immune, 6 seconds. Movement CC, I'm immune to everything for 8 seconds. So if I get stunned, pop that, zip away, and I'm gone. Gone. And they can't do anything about it. Whereas if they were a coordinated team and I hit the Furious and I hit a retaliate, they could hit me with another stun out of it and still kill me. The only thing I'd have is if I didn't have my C power up, I'd probably be dead. So Juggernaut is just a great get out of jail free card for a Bard. It's fantastic. What else do we have? And here's the thing with Juggernaut, everything is good on it, man. It's so good. It's so good. Most of the major disciplines you take, you're going to find that you only want like 1 or 2 of the abilities, or, in some cases you only want the passive, and everything else you just consider garbage. With Juggernaut, everything is good. It's all good, and it's all good for everybody. Now let's get into the passive. Spite. Spite is a passive that it allows you to heal for 4 to 6% of your health over 5 seconds whenever you get knocked down or stunned. This is not like amazing. This is not something you absolutely have to run, but it's nice. It's good for poke damage, poke stuns. Can't really go wrong with it. But if you're a Templar, for example, if you're somebody that has the ability to magnify your health pool by a ridiculous margin, like Templars can make their HP pools ridiculous, and you're going to get a ton of value out of this. But for the Bard, it's not really that great. It's replaceable. So if you had something else you wanted to run, not a big deal. And lastly, toughness. Group increases maximum, it's a max HP group buff. This is so good. Increases your maximum health of your entire group-wide buff by 20% for 45 seconds. So this thing has a 68-second cooldown and lasts for 45 seconds. So if you have somebody else in the group running Juggernaut as well, which will be pretty likely because it's so damn good, you can keep the 20% health buff up all the time. Now, 20% health in this game, this is very good because there are other HP group increasing buffs. There's other rune stones. I think Runecaster has an HP buff that's AoE, but it's 1,000. It gives you 1,000 extra health. Now, that's good. 1,000 health is a lot. I have 4,000 health right now. But 20% is way better than 1,000 because 20% scales. When we get more health, this is going to give you more health. When you're a Templar and you have a bananas amount of health and you're running around with like 12,000 HP or whatever they can get, 20%, you're going to get a lot more value out of that. So this scales, and there's a lot of abilities that give you magnified health pools, and this just adds on to it. If you have a Legionnaire, the Legionnaires have an ability that increases your max HP pool, I believe. So very, very good AoE buff. And again, it synergizes very well with the Bard because you've got 4 AoE buffs. Toughness, you got a 5th one now. So it's kind of nice because you got another one, man. Another one, as DJ Cal would say. Another one. So got the 2 majors knocked out. Now let's get into the weapon disciplines. Master of Arcane. The only other choice you have as a Confessor is Master of Focus, which I'll be honest, I have not tested yet. It could be good, but I haven't tested it yet because it might still be bugged, and also I don't have a focus weapon. But Master of Arcane is good as well. It's going to give you extra fire damage as well as Firewall, which is a great zoning ability. It does a ton of damage. It puts a nasty debuff on people. Firewall, it's this skill right here. If people stand in it, they get fucked up. And if they get hit by it and then run out, they still have a really nasty dot on them that does a ton of damage. So this is good for zoning. If you get pulled in or if there's like a melee on you, just drop this at your feet, zip away. They have a dot on them. It's pretty nice. And again, it's instant. It's something you can do. Put down the Firewall, right into a song. No big deal. I got some server lag going on here. But yeah, you can easily just put this thing down and fire and forget, Well, literally fire and forget. So I like that ability for the Bard. And the other stuff I don't use Redemption. It's got way too much of a ramp up, and also it locks you in. It's a big channeled cast. Not a fan. And then Concentration. I don't need it. I don't need to run it because I don't need it. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, onto the minors. Sustaining note. Hot off the press, baby. This thing got nerfed into the ground. Used to be able to run 3 of these things. I think you only benefited from 2 of them, but you used to be able to run 2 of them to get 12 extra seconds on your songs. That has been nerfed. You can now only run 1 of these. So this is going to increase your song duration by 6 seconds. As a bard, this is mandatory. I don't know why you wouldn't run this. 6 extra seconds on your song, unless you're twisting. Which I have to do a whole another video on twisting because that's a whole separate thing. But 6 extra seconds on your song, it's incredible value. Run that shit, duh. Mortal Sin. Now this is where my build gets a little wonky, a little crazy. I am not running Absolution, which some of the confessors that are watching this video are looking at my skill bar going, where is it? Where is it? What the fuck? How is that not on your bar? Here's the thing. I'm running Mortal Sin, and my thought process is that since I'm a bard, since my attacks and since the stuff that I do is all like side action, I am more focused on keeping the sin up, the mortal sin up, than I am from benefiting from a little bit of extra burst damage. Mortal Sin, 10% extra. What this does is it, when you get 5 stacks of sin up on somebody, they now take 10% more. They're 10% more likely to get crit, which is a big deal in this game because there are a lot of classes that have crazy crit multipliers to where when they do crit, it's just bananas high. Like Champion, I believe, can get a ridiculous crit multiplier. So 10% more likely to get crit on something that is essentially free that I'm doing all the time when I'm throwing these fireballs. It's not a big deal. Also, if I run Absolution, it's another spot on my bar. I could run Absolution pretty easily. You know, I could take off the Firewall, but I really like the Firewall. Or I could run Expansive Mind. But honestly, I think running Mortal Sin and having another Confessor in my group, you know, somebody else that's able to purge the sin off and get value out of that, or even not, you know, or even just keeping up the 10% buff, 10% more crit debuff, I think it's pretty valuable because, again, that affects everybody. Everybody's getting value out of that. So I'll be honest, this is still up in the air for me. I don't know if doing this playstyle without Absolution with Mortal Sin for the debuff is worth it. But I think it's something to at least think about. But that might get changed. Then we've got Sturdy. The thing with these, you know, the only runestone here that is not changeable, in my opinion, is Sustaining Note. You have to run that. You're, in my opinion, kind of a retard if you don't run Sustaining Note as a bard. But these other two, you know, if you want to run something else, yeah, you know, not a big deal. Sturdy. This is going to reduce the amount of health. This is going to give you a damage reduction. It's a 20% damage reduction when you're above 80% health. I think this is pretty good for the bard because the bard has the little healing song, which doesn't heal much, but if you're a bard and you're in the back line and you're going to take some poke damage because that's inevitable, this is going to damn near make you immune to poke damage because the 20% stacked with the 15% from Guardian Rhythms, so you're talking 35% less damage taken when you're above 80% health with this little self-heal you've got going. And if you're not getting focused, that's enough to heal through the poke damage. And a lot of that poke damage might be stuns and stuff, so you got the 4 to 6% max HP heal every time you get hit by a knockdown or a stun. So all these things combined kind of make you immune to poke damage without having to get direct heals. So, yeah, I think it's all right. But again, that's not mandatory. This is just kind of something I run because, you know, whatever. I could replace it. It doesn't take up, it's not an active ability. It takes up a spot on my bar with any sort of, you know, thing. But you could replace it if another minor discipline comes out. Again, these two pretty replaceable. So, what else? What do we want to get to next here? The passives I'm running, Mortal Sin, obviously, because I have the Runestone for it. Sturdy, because I have the Runestone for it. And Spite. These, again, are very interchangeable. So if you wanted to run Way of the Leader, if you're a group leader, for example, and you have that spec, you could drop, you could drop Spite, whatever. You could. These are very. That's the one thing that's very nice about this Confessor build is that the Confessor does not have mandatory passives, at least as a bard. If you're a champion, for example, there are just, there are like 2 passives of the champion that I think you just have to have. And most people with most of their builds are in a situation where they have they're like, man, I have this thing I really want to run, but I can't take this other thing off my bar because I need it so bad. With the Confessor Bard, you're in a really good spot, man. All this stuff, I could go without it. You know, yeah, it's nice, but if something even better came up, I can drop it. So, I really like that. Had to get some water there. Okay. Now, speaking of passives, some of you Confessors are probably looking at this going, what the fuck? He doesn't have Fervor on his bar? He doesn't have any weapon efficiency or any mana passives? He has no mana regen? This guy is reckless. He gives no fucks about his mana. So let's talk about resources and mana usage. So, here's the thing with the Bard. Some of you guys might not know. Most of the major disciplines, all of the major disciplines, except for Bard and Troubadour, I believe, take resources. Some of them more than others. Some of them take quite a bit. So let's pop my 7 and 8 abilities. So I'm going to pop the HP buff and the CC break. You see my mana bar? It kind of dipped down there. That does not happen with the songs. If I play a song, doesn't take any mana. That is by design, because if it did take mana, then twisting would be impossible. And I believe I don't think that's going to get changed. So the Bard is one of the few disciplines that is free. It's free for everybody. It's free for Templars, free for whatever resource you use. It is free. So what that means is that I am benefiting a little bit. I'm benefiting a lot more from that mana regen. And the abilities that I do use in my bar are very cost efficient. You know, I put down this firewall. Doesn't take that much mana. The stun doesn't take that much mana. And the left click is basically negligible. And when you factor that in, you might be saying, well, you just lost, you know, whatever, 15% of your mana bar there. When you factor the songs in, the fact that I'm, you know, channeling these free Bard songs, the regen is going to overpower the usage. Now, with 100% uptime, if I am constantly throwing fireballs with 100% efficiency and I'm not getting CC'd and nothing bad is happening, then my mana will slowly, and I mean very slowly, go down. But that might not even be the case when I get more training and when I get gear. I am naked. I have just the book on, just the basic book on, no HP, armor, spirit regen, none of that. And also, if you take a look at my skill tree, you will notice that I don't have any Confessor training. I have one node in the Confessor training, and I'm training in the AP. I'm not even training in the regen because I don't need it. So when I eventually do train the regen, mana is going to be even less of an issue than it already is. So, let me get out of this. What the hell? There we go. Okay, so let's do a quick little rundown of what you might expect in combat, just to show you that the mana is no issue. So let's say, oh my god, look, group's coming. Let's start putting the buffs up. Song of Speed, Guardian Rhythms, Restoration. Okay, let's get the buffs up. Put down the Juggernaut. All right. Oh, they're coming right for us. Put down the firewall. Stun that tree. Oh, zip away. Oh, God. Oh, no, no, no. You know, keep the songs up. Got to keep the songs up. Throw some fireballs in between, but got to keep the songs up. Flame wall that tree. Getting a little too close for my liking here. Keep the songs up. Zip away. I'm trying to simulate an actual combat scenario here. And the main focus, again, keep the songs up. But you'll notice, look at my mana bar. You know, this is with me trying to burn through my mana as quickly as possible. And it's not really going down. It's going down slowly, but you'll notice when I start playing these songs that it starts to regen. And, you know, if I'm getting stunned, if I don't have 100% uptime, the mana is not really an issue. Now, this group fight would have to go on for a really long time for me to get out of mana. And it'd have to go on a really long time without me getting CC'd at all. None. And I think once I get even just a little bit of mana regen, that it'll be damn near impossible for me to run out of mana. So I've had no mana issues whatsoever in these team fights, and I'll actually show some team fights in the future here. Well, we had some rubber banding action there, but you know, if you're keeping your song buffs up, then and this is with me firewalling pretty much every 10 seconds. I'm trying to burn through my mana here, guys. You Yeah, not much of an issue. Not much of an issue. Anyway, so I believe I hit on everything I wanted to hit on in terms of theory crafting. Let's get into some team fights. These were team fights that I recorded with my guild. We just did some guild 5v5s, and the main goal of me here is to keep these buffs up. I know I sound like a broken record here, but keep an eye on the buffs on the side here, and you'll notice that we end up getting tons of them, and they really, really help out. So, for some things to keep in mind, there's currently some bugs with the BARD cast time. There'll be some times where it looks like I'm standing around not doing anything. I can assure you I am playing a song, but the cast bar bugs out, like right there, it went to like 50% and then disappeared. There's currently some bugs with that. Also, the performance was a little bit crappy due to an NVIDIA patch. Get the new NVIDIA drivers, guys. They make the game play a lot better. But what I'm doing here, I'm probably a little bit too close for comfort. I should probably be a little further back, but they're not really on me. And I was going for some firewalls, and firewalls a little easier to hit when you're close like that. And I getting some pretty good, valuable firewalls while keeping up my buffs. Look at the buffs on the side here. Look at all those buffs. And look at our team's HP, man. When you keep that Guardian Rhythms up, combined with the other passives damage reduction that people are running, keeping that, it's only 15%, but man, it really does help a lot. And that combined with the heal over time, man, it really does add up. So, yeah, main thing that here's the thing, guys. I'm not very good at a Confessor. I think I'm pretty good at the BARD, but actually playing the Confessor part of it, I'm horrible at. I'm horrible with the firewalls. I'm horrible with my positioning. So I need to work on that. But I wanted to give you guys some combat footage of, and that's a little nasty stun you can do, a little nasty combo. You can stun somebody in the firewall, and there we called it because fight was over. Here's another group fight we got into. Both sides on. We didn't even set this up. This just kind of happened with the canyon here. Like, who wants to go into no man's land and do this? But my Myrmidon teammate buddy here gets a nice pull. Nice pull on that Legionnaire, and we get on him. I got the firewall on him, put that debuff on him, got the stun on him there. And I want to show this clip because I actually get a little bit focused here. And look, I'm pretty damn tanky. I caught some fireballs there, keeping the buffs up. Look at those buffs. Like, Jesus, we got a lot of freaking buffs. So, yeah, I don't get focused here until a little later. Could have been a lot better with my firewalls here. Again, I'm a freaking noob at the Confessor. But the main focus is keeping the songs up. And these were not particularly organized team fights in any. Yeah, here they start focusing me again. They definitely are starting to get on me a little bit here, but with the self-healing, with the Guardian Rhythms, with Spite, with all that stuff combined, I'm able to really, that poke damage, it's not really doing too much. Here they get on me again, not taking much damage. Again, all that stuff combined, I'm pretty darn tanky. And here I go for a little cheeky combo on the stun into the firewall, and then I run away a little bit. They're starting to get me a little bit low, but zip away, put the songs up, catch a Legionnaire heal here. I think he's gonna hit me with the heal, and take out the Druid. So anyway, want to give you a little bit of an idea of what at least I'm trying to do in group combat. I know this is incredibly sloppy because I am terrible at the Confessor, but I want to show you guys some combat, despite the fact that I'm horrendous at the Confessor right now. But I think that at least you can see the potential here. I'm horrible with the flame walls, I know. I'm horrible with the aiming, and I'm horrible with the positioning. But I think I got a good build here, guys, despite the fact I'm not very good at playing it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. I almost said quick little video. It's probably a long ass video, but hope you guys enjoyed this theory crafting video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have come up with anything even better than this, or have even better ideas, because there's a lot of combinations here, and I'm sure somebody has come up with something better. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time. Have a good one. Oh, and real quick, if you haven't signed up already, be sure to sign up for Crowfall using the link in the description. You'll get into the beta for free, as well as get 5% off anything you buy if you decide to buy something. They may be doing away with the free beta access here fairly soon. I saw something on the forums about it. There's just a ton of people that have signed up for it, and they might have to cut it off. So sign up now, get in line for the free access. And if you do decide to buy something, you get 5% off, so do that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.